the defense a lot farther along this year compared to last year at this time?
Yeah, quite a bit. In everything, we're bigger and stronger and faster, and then the knowledge of what we're doing is a lot better. So you can see the players playing much faster. So I'm anxious to see in that first ball game how much we have improved.
You guys like to use a lot of players. Are you seeing that kind of two deep guys being ready to go so that you can do that this year?
Yeah, I hope so. As the season goes, you win championships in November. So if you can be fresh and we try to play our players between 40 and 50 snaps on defense and not any more than that. And if we can get that done, and it also keeps everybody involved, it helps us on special teams because they are playing on defense, which allows them to play better on teams. So it's just a better formula if we can play more people.
How important is that in a conference that runs so much spread to have guys that don't run 80 plays a game on defense?
Yeah, I think you have to anymore. You can see in our league as the season goes on, the defenses don't do quite as well. And I think it's because if you don't play enough guys, those guys wear down because you play so many snaps.
How much more are you able to do now that you guys do have the pads on and getting after each other? How much more can you guys do on defense in full pads?
Well, when we have helmet and shoulder pads, that's really full pads to us because we try to stay off the ground. But like today, we went one period of live, which we can't do with just helmet and shoulder pads. So, the live tackling, the only way to tackle well is you got to practice it. And, there's no substitute for live tackling.
Sounds like creating turnovers has pretty much been a big emphasis.
Yeah, and you guys have all heard the toxic differential. That's a big thing today. And we've been preaching it in our goal board. We only have 3 goals, and 2 of them are that. If you can create turnovers and not give up big plays, you're going to win a lot of football games. And so that's what we're trying to do. Like last year, guys, we only had 9 turnovers. You're not going to win the Big 12 with 9 turnovers. The leader of the Big 12 had 29, which was Texas Tech. So we have got to start getting the football, whether we catch it or strip it, and we're starting to do a better job of that. And we'll see if that carries over into the ball games.
Phil, do you feel like Blake has kind of found a home? Blake Lynch, do you feel like he's kind of found a home now at safety?
Yeah, you know what? We're going to play him a little bit at down in the box and at safety. So we'll utilize the best players in the best situations. So, I'm looking forward to see his progress as we develop.
How much of generating turnovers is coaching versus having the right players that can just make those plays?
Well, a lot of it is players, but it also is defensive calls too. The more aggressive you are as a defense, the more turnovers you're apt to create. Like, guys, the person that turns the ball over the most is probably the quarterback position with interceptions, and he doesn't protect the ball very well either. So on sacks, if you can knock the ball out. So if we're around the quarterback a lot, and our goal this year in sacks is we want to try to get 40 sacks this year. So if we can do that, then we'll create more turnovers. But a lot of it is players, but we can create a lot with just our calls and attitude.
How much does it help you be more aggressive, being that this is the second year in the system for a lot of these guys?
Yeah, we'll be. We tried to be a little aggressive last year, but we'll pick and choose when we do it and be smart with when we do it.
Coach, how Henry Black, his size, is he going to be playing like hybrid linebacker, safety? Is he going to be playing one or the other?
Everybody, the 4-2-5, they call it the 4-2-5, and they play a nickel instead of a linebacker. Well, we don't say 4-2-5, but we have a lot of guys that are, nickel-sized guys, and Henry's one of them that'll play that position. But we call Henry a linebacker. But in essence, he really is the half-breed, right? That can cover and play the run.
How much does the experience now and knowing the system a little bit better, it's not Chinese, so to speak, allows players to physically be better because they're not thinking as much?
Yeah. Guys, if you can get 11 people to respond when they're supposed to based on keys, then everything comes together. It's when half the defense responds when they're supposed to and the other half doesn't, then you create space in the defense. And it just doesn't operate as well. And that's what we went through last year. And what you'll see is we're starting to get 11 players respond when they're supposed to. And if we do that, we'll play much better.
What would you say your deepest position is right now on defense?
Well, I thought it was corner, but we're a little bit nicked up right now in our defensive tackles. We've got some good defensive tackles. So, I thought going into camp, those are the strengths, but we're a little nicked up at corner right now.
Who's nicked up?
Well, even Graylin had a little, but you see DT's limping a little bit. Houston's not practicing right now. and Harrison's hands not practicing right now.
Is that long-term, or is it just
No, I think the
bumps
system,
and bruises?
yeah. But the problem is, guys, they're not getting reps, valuable reps in camp. And so, you know, that always hurts you. So I'm anxious to get them back on the field so we can get those repetitions.
Who's raised some eyebrows for you so far?
You know, I really don't judge anything on practice because practice is not the game. You can see guys practice well and not play well in the game. So if you ask me that after the third game, I'll be able to tell you who I think is, you know, really coming on and can play at this league and at the level that we want.
Last year, Coach Rule talked a lot about getting the team to be tougher, and have you been able to see that? You know, you're only a couple days in pads, but do you see a tougher mentality with this team?
Yeah, we're getting tougher, but that's an everyday thing, you know. Even guys like Mike Tyson at the end of his career wasn't as tough as he was when he was younger, right? So you can lose that very quickly if you don't put your thumb on that. So that's something we're on every day, and if we lose it, it's hard to get back.
What about guys in leadership roles? Who's really taken ownership of the defense?
Well, I think there's guys at each position that are. You know, we have a player coach's oath, and players are starting to do that. So you don't have to be a senior to lead. I think in each age group we have leaders, and they're doing a nice job with it. But the more we get on board, the better we're going to play.
How's Clay Johnston doing?
He's doing good. We even put him at DN the other day, and he rushed pretty good. Because what we're trying to do is find our best 4 pass rushers on third down. So, and he's a pretty good rusher. So, Clay's a good football player. Our deal is we got to keep, hopefully he can stay healthy.
What was the Houston? You said Derek's limping. What's Jamison Houston battle?
He's got a little ankle. A lot of these guys. It's early camp stuff and you see it a lot in the NFL right now too, right? A lot of guys neck. It's the early camp stuff. Unfortunately, our strength coaches cannot. You can't duplicate what we do in football. We tried to in the off season in conditioning, and so all the explosion those corners do, stop and start and stuff, and so they're just minor stuff that we'll get them back here and get them going.
Who do you see as your best pass rushers up front in the defensive line?
That weak side end, BJ, Deontay Williams, X Jones. Inside, I think James Lynch is really a good pass rusher. So we're starting to come on, though. I think we'll have more pass rushers this year.
You've had Ross Matizik out there at linebacker. What does he look like?
I'm telling you, he should have been playing linebacker all along.
Yeah.
I mean, he has instincts. He goes fast. And you know what he has? He has a knack. You were asking about turnovers. He has a knack to creating turnovers, which he did as the center last year. If you remember the Kansas State game, went down there, pulled the ball out, created a short field. So we're excited about him coming over and playing some linebacker. And it's great that Matt's allowed him to, Coach Rule.
I wanted to ask you about that little ball strip contraption you got out there.
Yeah.
What's kind of the purpose of that? Or
We have one in the office and one on the field, and every time a player goes by it, we want him to strip the football. It's just a mentality of get the football. And I think if you're not thinking about the ball, and our deal on D, we're really trying to stress attack the ball. So, and the ball is the key, right? If we can create turnovers, score on defense, get short fields for the offense, we have a chance to really upgrade our percentages of winning.
When you're in camp early on like this, how do you judge whether the defense is having a good day or the offense is having a bad day? Is there something you look for in particular?
Really, guys, all you got to look, if our offense doesn't turn the football over and creates big plays, and we create turnovers and don't give up big plays, then you're going to play well. So if you notice, we had practice in the stadium, and the only thing we had is differential up there. So we had big plays for the offense and turnovers for the defense, and we kept track, because that's really the essence of winning and losing a football game.